West Africa's high birth rates are again in the spotlight. The average woman there gives birth to around 6 children. Now, regional body ECOWAS wants that number halved. ECOWAS wants member countries to adopt measures including universal access to contraception and improved education for women. Politicians from the region have been meeting in Burkina Faso to discuss population control. At the current level, the 15-nation bloc will reach 1 billion people by 2050, according to the UN. Well, China is among countries that have successfully managed to control population growth. For more on this and what Africa can learn from China, we're joined by Luo Yu live in Beijing. Lu, how has population control helped in achieving China's developments?
Well, China's one-child policy was introduced at the end of the 1970s and abandoned at the beginning of 2016. It has achieved what it set out to do, reining growth of the country's already vast population. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the policies have reduced the country's population growth rate considerably, dropping from 2.7% in the 1960s to just 0.5% in 2015. Experts say the policy has led to 400 million fewer births during the last 30 years, preventing potential resource problems. The country's one-child policy didn't slow the economy. China's working-age population rose in the past 20 years, pushing up incomes and productivity as young people headed into cities to work in factories. Meanwhile, we've seen rising levels of education, longer life expectancies, and higher living standards for the vast majority of Chinese people. However, after 3 decades, the drawbacks of the one-child policy are more and more apparent. China's population is aging and its working population is shrinking. According to the Family Planning Association, in 2015, China has just over 1 billion people of working age, but this figure is set to decline to 960 million in 2030. Also, younger generations here in the country face an unprecedented burden of care. Only children face what is known as the 4-to-1 phenomenon. When the child reaches working age, he or she could have to care for 2 parents and 4 grandparents in retirement. That's why all married couples have been allowed to have 2 children, following an earlier easing of the policy in 2013, allowing couples to have a second child if either parent was an only child. President Xi Jinping said the plan could reduce the pressure of an aging population, increase labor supply, and support balanced population development. There are some Chinese experiences that African countries can draw upon, but countries have to follow their demographic data and local, social, as well as economic development closely to the cost and benefit analysis and make their family planning policies in line with their own national conditions in a prudent way. Back over to you.
And what can Africa learn from the Chinese experience in managing population growth?
Could you please repeat the question again? Sorry.
Luo Yu, I'm asking what Africa can learn from the Chinese experience in managing population growth.
Well, it really depends on how those African countries see these problems. First, I think the cost and benefit analysis is quite crucial in appraising current situation of the population in the country. Second, what's the dynamics and the relationship between the population growth as well as economic development. You really have to draw a very comprehensive analysis there. That's my perspective. And also, with the population decrease in the future, if you map out the future of your population growth strategies, you have to also consider other factors. For example, the population growth as well as social development, as well as air pollution there in the country. In the current stage, African countries are still in the developing stage. It's really thought-provoking to draw a comprehensive analysis there in the countries. Back over to you.
All right, Luo Yu in Beijing, we appreciate those insights. Thank you for joining us.